Shalom, ladies and gentlemen. Today, as always, we'll be talking about our weekly Torah portion, Parshas Pekudei. Not really as always, because we're completing the second book of Torah with 11 chapters, and it's kind of total of the book that we read, the book of Shemot. And yes, we have a list and the chart of all the donations to the temple, but probably the most logical total of the book would be almost the last phrases in the Torah. The Torah tells us that when the Jewish people were on their journey, the cloud of glory was protecting us, and when we were stopping until the cloud of glory was raising above the tent, we were staying in our journeys. And interestingly, those are obvious words towards the end of the book, because we begin our journey to go to the land of Israel. It's a very, very long journey that we continue until today. But Rashi, Rav Shlomo Yitzchaki, pays attention to a very interesting thing that will repeat itself a few times in the future in the other chapters, that both the journeys and the stations are both called journeys. Why, explains Rashi? Because at the moment that we were stopping somewhere in the desert, even the cloud was above the tent, we still were always preparing to move. Because movement, the journey, this is life. The life is constant movement, constant growth. This goes throughout our history all the time. Even the idea of being a happy person, as described by King David in the first sentence of the book of Psalms. The first sentence, he actually goes from the contradiction. He asks, who is the happy person? And he said that it's not the person that follows the sinners, it's not that one that stands with the unworthy, and it's not the one that sits with the clowns. And if you look at the sentence, it's kind of a process. At the beginning, you go in the wrong direction, then you stop, and then you sit. This is basically the degradation of the human being. This is opposite of being happy. The movement, the constant strive to go higher, to go further, to develop yourself, to create. This how the human being grows. This how the Jewish people survive throughout the history. An example to this, our father Yaakov, who had a lot of journeys in his life, from Beersheba to Hebron and back, and to Mount Moriah and to Haran, and when finally he comes back to the Holy Land. The chapter that talks about how he's staying in a Holy Land, in the future land of Israel that actually called by his name, it says Vayeshev. Yaakov settled, usually translated, and then when he settled, and he said, okay, my journeys are over, I can sit quietly and relax with my big family in the Holy Land. Then where all the problems started. Then when the story of brothers and Joseph appears, the story of Yehuda and Tamar, and at the end of the day, Yaakov has to continue his journey, but only towards the exile in Egypt. This is the idea of the Jewish survival. Throughout our history, we're constantly moving. We don't stay in one place for too long. For the last 2,000 years, when we are in diaspora, we are in exile, we're constantly moving from one geographical location to another, either because we're immigrating or because we were kicked out from certain places, from many places. And when it happens, when the Jewish people feel very comfortable in a certain place, we don't feel anymore as a guest because we're in exile, but feel it as a complete citizen of the place that we stay. We're always reminded it's the time to move on, go further. And even today, when the biggest part of the Jewish people already reached its final geographical destination, land of Israel, the movement is still required. Because the movement, it's not only to south or to north, to west, or to east. No, the movement is going to be up, like angels that going up the sky in Yaakov's dream. And this is how we survive in Jewish people. Be constantly on the move. Don't sit down, don't sit still, constantly movement. After all, the first words that were told to the first Jew, to Avraham Avinu, Lech Lecha, just go, keep on moving. Thank you very much, good luck, I see you next week.